Welcome. Did you enjoy the win last night? I think the Warriors did great. A great opening for the regular season. We caught that win against the Portland Trail Blazers, 139-104. The Warriors did great. The bench played really well, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's talk all the good points we have on that game, where the Warriors need to improve, and I'm going to give to you 3 winners and 3 losers of the game last night. Yes, 3 Warrior players that went well out of that game and 3 Warrior players that not necessarily disappointed, but needs to show more and needs to improve. So before we move forward, don't forget to subscribe. I'm starting this new version of the channel. You might know me by the Let's Talk Golden State Warriors. This is the Warriors rule where I'm going to bring only Golden State Warriors news for you. So let's talk about the roster, right? So the Warriors have been saying, it was emphasized last night, we have a very deep roster. And our bench is fantastic right now. We are likely one of the deepest roster in the league, all across the board, Western and Eastern Conference. So, and last night, it wasn't different than that. I said that the Warriors have one major point that we need to pay attention. That was the fact of the size, right? It has been a problem for us. It could be a problem last night. It wasn't. We hold the entering Ayton to only 10 points, and the rookie that is 7.2 center for the Trailblazers also just scored 2 points. So both Trayce Jackson, Kevin Looney, they splitted the role and they hold. Then Trayce Jackson also able to score 14 points. But I want to highlight how deep this roster goes. So no other team in the league, usually, unless they're really winning by a lot, they play 12 players. Steve Kerr has one of the most challenging, very different thing to do this season because he's not going to be able to only play 9 or 10 players in a night. It's going to be very difficult because everyone that is coming in is performing well. We're going to talk about a few of them, but look at these guys here. And remember, our bench last night scored 70 points, more than half of what we score and more than any other bench in the first 2 nights of the NBA this season. We are outscoring every single bench of the opponent team in the preseason. We did last night. We almost did the double amount of points that the Portland Trail Blazers bench did as well. So these guys are doing really well. And I'm going to show you the box score so you can actually take a look on how this was distributed. And that's also interesting. You don't have the points necessarily concentrated in one single player. And that's going to be great for the season because you have players that will oscillate, that they will play better one night and not the other. But then you have other guys that can step up. Take a look on these numbers. You have Moses Moody, 15 points in less than 15 minutes. Buddy Hield, amazing performance, playing around 15 minutes as well, scoring 22 points. So the guys are outstanding. And they're all coming from the bench. Our starters play well. Wiggins also, I think, play really well. Stephen Curry almost scored a double-double. But we rely, and that's so great for the Warriors. If we have injuries, we have the guys that can replace those players. Every single position, we have options on that roster. And we could even play Lead Waters the third and Gui Santos last night that they were actually informed before by Steve Kerr they will not play. But the game was controlled, and then they also were able to get some minutes as well. So let's talk about 3 winners and 3 losers. The game was really good for the Warriors. I think the Warriors started really, really bad, and I was shocked in the beginning. I was like, wow, this is going to be a long season for us. But then they actually caught up. The defense was on point with still minor adjustments required, but I was really impressed by some guys on the defense side, and even shooting really bad on the first quarter, we were able to hold the Trailblazers to only 21 points. So I think we did really well on that. So look at this. This is the first winner of the game for me. Andrew Wiggins. So many doubts around him. His name was thrown all the time in trade rumors. Even some Warriors fans, they are skeptical. I know that. He has a high salary and he's coming from his worst season, the worst season in his career. But last night, what we saw, what we expect and what we need. If Wiggins is able to maintain this consistent over the season and knowing that sometimes it's going to oscillate a little bit more, a little bit less, but around those 20 points, he's the second guy that we need right there because we're also going to have other ones coming. But he's bringing that 20 points that when you sum up and you put together with Stephen Curry and other players, there is what we need. and he's also a really good defense guy. He showed that over the season, over the game as well. So I think he's the big winner. He's starting, and it's great that he did already in the first game to put those doubters aside and showing that he's ready to rebound. Then Moses Moody. I think Moses Moody, he wasn't part directly of the second unit. He didn't came immediately on that first substitution round, but he came, play less than 14 minutes and deliver again more points than minutes, 15 points, attacking the ring, shooting from threes. Like, he's being really aggressive. I feel the motivation. He's trying to get more space. He just renewed his contract, got that extension, very well deserved. And I think he's relieved, and he's going to take advantage of every single minute on the floor. So I'm really happy with the performance that he's showing. And more than that, again, he's our 11 guy coming to the court and still putting pressure on the other defenders. So you get everyone exhausted on the opponent team. So really big winner for himself last night, and also a big winner for the Warriors to count him in the roster. And then we have, for me, the main guy of the game. Stephen Curry almost had a triple-double, played 25 minutes because he didn't need any more. But Buddy Hield playing 15 minutes and scoring over 20 points, hitting 5 out of 7 three-point shooters. It was great. I think he's running, and I think he will run for that 6th man of the year. He will take advantage of how Stephen Curry called the attention of the opponent. So when they are both at the floor, he gets a lot of space. Stephen Curry is not selfish, creates plays for him as well. We saw that last night. So I think he's a guy that I had some doubts before, and I shared about that, like his defense. And last night I was impressed. I think the opportunities that I had to see one-on-ones against Buddy Hield, he was really aggressive. He was putting his body. He had some fouls as well because of that, but it seems like he's improving on that. So he's going to be a massive guy for the Warriors. Again, another one that could be that guy delivering around 20 points per game, and we should put the Warriors in a road to win every time. So that's great. And then I think that's the last winner out of the three. So Andrew Wiggins, Buddy Hield, and Moses Moody, the 3 big winners of last night game. And then let's talk about the big losers. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean they are losers. I just feel that compared to the other ones, they were a little bit shy, or they had some point of attention that I want to bring it up. And the first name, I think you might agree with me, is Draymond Green. I got really scared. Let's be honest about it. Draymond Green took that technical foul, and he kept insisting. And I was like, haven't he learned anything? Like, we are so soon, and things are not heat up yet. Like, we are not under pressure. The season's just starting. So it was good that Steve Kerr took that break, the timeout, because I feel like Draymond Green was walking towards getting that second technical foul and being ejected for the game, and that's going to complicate the whole thing for the Warriors. We need Draymond Green on the floor. Everyone knows, if you have seen the videos on the other channel and my comments, even for Warriors fans, when so many keep asking Draymond Green to be traded or ask in the past, I'm the one that believes that he's a key element for the Warriors because of his ability of defending, his IQ on the defensive side, but also on the offensive side. Like, he's a playmaker. He passed the ball well. He's able to sync with centers, with Stephen Curry, and now with other players like Andrew Wiggins, Buddy Hield as well. So he's going to be key. We cannot afford to not have Draymond Green. And he needs to keep his mindset. Like, at the end of the day, one thing that I was thinking last night is, like, when have you seen a referee overturn a decision because a player is complaining? So I don't know. The Warriors maybe should put someone else in the sideline that he can complain for instead of going to the referee. I was really, and you could see the concern of all the Warriors players because they were grouping around him, and he kept going until he got the technical foul. So yes, last night in the interview, Steve Kerr said that it's expected. Again, I know that as well. It's part of the Draymond Green style, but we cannot have him taking that second technical foul. So that was, for me, he didn't have any outstanding numbers. He didn't play bad, but again, he didn't shine, and it led me like this big concern for the continuation of the season. And then the second one, I think, was Kyle Anderson. I was surprised when he didn't come in that second unit. Like when the Warriors made the substitutions. We had Looney, Brandon Porzingis. We also had Buddy Hield. We had Gary Payton II, and the other guy he wasn't Anthony Melton. He wasn't Kyle Anderson. Let me take a look here, a sneak peek. Who was that we brought to the table? So it was Kevin Looney, Gary Payton, Jonathan Kuminga. No, there was there. And Brandon Porzingis, right? So we didn't bring Kyle Anderson immediately for that rotation. And that was concerning for me because at the end of the day, no, it wasn't concerning, but I think he lost space from what he had before. He's supposedly to be our power forward replacing Draymond Green. And he took a time to come to the game against, he's very smart and I think he has a lot of IQ, but he didn't outstanding. And I think in this rotation that Steve Kerr has so many options, you need to outstand to get more minutes. And I think some way, either with assists or if points. Let me give you an example. Last night, Brandon Porzingis didn't score, but he was the biggest plus minus for the Warriors. So as he was on the floor, he was impacting. So I think Kyle Anderson just was so in the game. He can improve and he can bring more. And then Jonathan Kuminga. Jonathan Kuminga was a starter, and he started in the small forward position, number 3. Scored 10 points. I just think, as we keep saying, he is supposed to take that big leap. It's just the beginning of the season, but he didn't show what we were expecting. As I was saying about Andrew Wiggins, that is putting aside already up front, and bouncing back and showing the doubters that he can do it. Jonathan Kuminga, which even Draymond Green and we expect that he should run for us all-star level this season. He hasn't showed yet. So it was a discrete game last night. And I think so he was the other winner or loser that I call from this game. I think in general, the Warriors played well. It was very well distributed. And I think more and more as the players engage, it will be hard to find this big difference between who did more, who did less. Is going to sort of keep in a good average. That's the expectations for every single way. So let's take a look on the schedule. The Warriors are playing 2 days or tomorrow against the Utah Jazz on the road again. And then we are back to the Chase Center on Sunday. Our first game at the Chase Center, playing at home this season. And then two back-to-back games with the New Orleans Pelicans at the Chase Center as well. So that's the rest of the schedule for October. I'm pretty confident that the Warriors can catch some wins on those. And I think they have a massive opportunity to start well this season. So I want to know your opinion. Who are the big winners and losers of the game last night for you? Let me know your thoughts.